before
This
we do
conference
that,
will now be recorded.
yeah, so before we do that, I want to know whether you have any questions from the last session that you want to ask me.
No, Maitri, but I just wanted to, like tell you this.
Mm.
Can we do assessments in like in the gap of like 2.5 weeks or so?
What assessments, Priyanka?
Like on this, like just to know where I stand.
Oh, you want to do like an assessment or questionnaires or something like that? Do you want me to ask you questions?
Yeah,
Okay, sure. Why not? We can do that.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so today we are going to run through, but I'm not going to overwhelm you with a lot of things because this is where your actual scrum and what you're going to do and stuff like that are going to come in. So see, so everything has a basis, right? So
Yeah,
Scrum, when it got started, it had a basis, okay, or a theory, which is basically what it was found on. So basically, Scrum was founded on something called an empirical process, or what you called as empiricism. Okay, and empiricism is quite a hard word. Uh, so that is something that, so the definition of an empiricism per se is that the knowledge comes from experience and making decisions based on what is known. So let's not go too theoretical. For example, let's say that you have uh, you have your office like probably 5 miles away, okay, and you live in a part of the city where the traffic is pretty high at certain timings. Let's say that when you leave from home at 8 or 8:30 in the morning, and when you reach your office, okay, you have you know that that 5 miles is going to take this much of time because that comes from experience, right? So based on that, you can make decisions. You will know that that miles will take 15 minutes if you leave at certain time, and it might probably take even 45 minutes if you leave at certain other time. So Scrum is basically found on what is called you can only make decisions based on what you know, okay, but that will not make your life easier. That will only help you minimize the risk. For example, to put it like in a very easy way, you know for a fact that if you leave at 8 o'clock, it's going to take only 15 minutes. That is something that you can forecast, but that is not a definitive, right? What if probably this heavy snowfall, so you're not able to reach on time? So it is, you understand what I'm saying? It can be predicted, but it's not a definitive.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, you can predict, you can say that, hey, because for the last 2 years, whenever I have left at 8 o'clock, I was able to reach office by 8:15. So that knowledge comes from experience, and I can make decision based on that. But then I can't be definitive about it, but because there are so many external factors that can happen, okay, that in which can make that decision go a little different than what is expected. So like I told you the last time, Scrum is not a recipe book, or it's not served you on a platter. It'll help you fail fast and adapt faster. Like for example, it'll help you just control the risk and minimize the risk. It'll not eliminate the risk. Okay, so
Okay.
that is what empiricism is all about. Okay, so uh, going on, since Scrum was founded on empiricism, its core values are three things: transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Okay, so let me show you. I want to take you through uh, to the Scrum guide, but I just don't want to make it too theoretical, Priyanka, because then the sessions won't be very interactive and you can just read things from here, so it's not a big deal. So see, Okay, transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Before I even come to this, I have a question for you. So let's say that uh, you have you have transparency. So in a team, okay, don't you think that you would like to see certain things in a transparent way? Okay, like for example, take your product backlog. You maintain a product backlog in Jira, right?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Product
You
back.
maintain a product backlog
Uh-huh.
in Jira, right?
Right,
That
right.
you have your tasks and things
Yeah,
like that. You
yeah,
say
I do.
that this has to be done, this has to be done, and you put it in a
Mm-hmm.
certain order in Jira, right?
Yeah,
So
that's right.
that is transparent for everyone in your team,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Whoever is a part of your team, it's very transparent for them.
yeah.
Okay, so it is transparent for them. Okay, so let's say that things are not going as planned. Okay,
Okay.
so it will help you inspect what why certain things are certain ways. But okay, take leave your leave even your team. Take a room probably for an example. Okay, let's say that you have a room. Okay, it's very hot. Okay,
Okay.
and you turn the AC on. Okay, there are 10 people. Okay, and but 10 of you have different ways of adapting to a weather, right? I mean, one person might feel that 23 or 22 degrees is too cold. One person might feel that it's very hot. Okay, the other person might feel it is just about right. Okay, so
Yeah,
how do you know that uh, that it's the right temperature, or how do you know that? How do you ensure that transparency is there? You have an AC remote. You can actually visually see what is the temperature,
yeah,
right? You can
yeah. Right.
inspect it at any point in time that you want. Okay,
Yep.
based on various factors, like it could be like a huge room, a small room. It could There could be wood which can absorb the AC. There could be so many things. Based on that, you can adapt. Let's say that somebody is saying that hey, it's very cold. So based on a mutual thing, you can adapt. That is the same thing that you do when it comes to your product backlog, right? You
Yeah.
transparent. It is transparent for everyone. You can inspect it at any point of time, know what work is there, okay, and what is there, what has to be done next. Let us say that something is really not going according to plan and you have to change something. Okay, let's say that something else is very much more critical than what it is currently. You have some other very important task that you need to finish first. Based on that, you can adapt your product backlog, right? You can
Yeah.
always bring in new tasks. So
Right.
that is what this is all about. Okay, so when you're transparent, see what happens in most of, like, we were talking about traditional models last time, right? So what happens in models like that is it is not very transparent about what work you're doing. Okay, your client will just give you a chunk of work and you will do it. But there is no place where you can actually go and visually see what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
Okay, so in places like this, you can transparently see. Like there is no hiding. If you have different departments, also your HR department can come and see what is your admin department doing, etc. So it's very transparent. It is very open for even your clients to come and see this. Okay, so we spoke about Scrum values, right? Uh, Respect, focus, courage, openness, commitment. All that is there. Don't you think that by being transparent, you're encouraging people, or you have the courage to show what you're actually doing? You're being transparent enough to show whatever you're doing.
Right.
Okay, so you know that the product backlog is this way, so you're committed to do your tasks. Okay, you're focused, you know that this is the way it has to be done. So so I mean, these might all look theoretical, but when you actually see the value of it, it will be like it will make a lot of sense. That is why I said every time you read the Scrum guide, even when we both got introduced to each other, that is the first thing I told you. Every time that we read guide, every time it gives you a new perspective. Okay, so this is what transparency, inspection, and adaptation is all about. This is basically is what empiricism is all about. So when you have a transparent picture of what is happening, you can inspect and you can adapt based on that.
Okay.
Got that? Is
Yeah,
it clear
got it.
till now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, great. So let's say hi to the Scrum team. Okay. So I see it's going to be I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions. So get geared up for it. So
Okay.
a Scrum team, you can see this visual picture, right? A
Mm-hmm.
product owner is there, a Scrum master is there. You have a lot of people, devs, QAs. Hey, Priyanka, I know that you're not from the IT background, but you do know what developers, testers are all, right?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Okay, brilliant. So you have developers, you have testers, that is the QAs, you have the architects, business analysts. So
Mm-hmm.
tell me this, I have a few questions for you. Just
Okay.
see this diagram for a minute, see this pictorial representation for a minute, and then I have a question to shoot out to you. Tell me when you're ready.
Uh, can you tell me like what does the product owner do and what does the stakeholder do?
Okay, I'll come to it. Okay,
Okay.
but uh, but that dotted brown line is there, right? That
Yeah.
square kind of a thing is there, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
rectangle. So that is a Scrum team.
Yeah.
Forget the stakeholder, the business owner, subject matter expert, everybody for now. Just
Okay.
only focus on the product owner, the Scrum master, and the rest of the people here.
Yeah.
My question is only from that. I'll
Okay.
explain to you what is a stakeholder, everything later.
Okay.
Okay. So can we go on to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay, sure. So the roles you saw on the previous slide, just leave the business owner, stakeholder, subject matter expert. Just take only the ones in the Scrum team, the ones in
Mm-hmm.
the Scrum team, the within that square or rectangle. No, just
Mm-hmm.
tell me, do you think the roles are right?
Rules are right. If it is okay, I have one doubt here. Like,
Absolutely.
can there be a Scrum Master and a different product owner, or a
No, no,
Scrum
no, no.
Master can
Don't
also
think
play
too
as?
much. No, no,
Okay.
don't think too much. Just tell me, yeah, that and all is different. A Scrum Master can be a product owner. Yeah, that's all right. But then
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to think through. Just tell me. It's a very simple question. You will be like, wow, Maitri, really is this what you gave me the hype for? It's going to be
Okay.
like that. So you think the roles are right. Just leave the part that product owner, Scrum Master can play a dual role. Scrum Master can also be a part of the development team. Leave all that. Visually see this and see whether you think all the roles are right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. A team has a developer, quality analyst, business analyst, architect. I don't know, but yeah, yes.
So
Mm,
okay, I okay. Uh, have we missed any roles? Okay, according to you, no. Should project manager be included into the Scrum team?
project manager. Okay, so basically, this team already has a business analyst and product. So this team already has product owner, right?
Yeah, but the product owner is not a project manager, right?
Oh yeah, should project manager be included to Scrum team? Maybe, but this team already has a lot of people.
Don't worry. You know why I'm going through this exercise? I want you to get your basics very, very strong and right. That is the
Okay.
reason. So, do you think we have missed a data analyst into the Scrum team? We might need a data analyst.
Maybe.
Okay, okay, simple. Okay, I'm going
Okay.
to give you all the answers.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so see, basically, a product owner is right, a scrum
Mhm.
master is right. But this dev QA, dev architect, business analyst, whoever it is, they are all collectively called a development team. Okay.
Okay.
There is nothing called a dev or a QA or a business analyst or an architect or a data analyst, anything like that in a Scrum team. It is just three roles. It is a product owner, it is a Scrum master, and it's the development team. Okay, Scrum has a beautiful way of putting it for the simple reason that you know what happens. Maybe I'm not sure if you work in an environment like that, but Money works in an environment like that, and he can tell you when you have different things like a developer and a QA, and business analyst, and all these different people, there'll be always blame game. The developer will say that the business analyst didn't give the requirement properly. That is the reason why I couldn't finish my coding on time. The QA will say I was not able to finish the testing because the developer didn't give it to me on time. Money, have you ever come run into a scenario like that? And then the developer will say that hey, the QA guy gave put the bug at the very later stage, so I'm not able to fix it now. So the team doesn't take accountability as a whole, Priyanka. That is the problem. They
Yeah.
don't work together as a team. They only want to blame each other. Okay, so that is the reason why Scrum said no. Everybody, there are no sub roles and there are no titles in Scrum. Everybody is a development team member.
Okay.
Okay, let us not differentiate them. Okay, that is why there are no designations or role in Scrum team. Project manager, delivery manager, they'll all be at a part of the organization. Okay, like your delivery manager and project managers will do a lot of other things like getting approvals, then handling the project overall, getting billing from the client for the project, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the Scrum team doesn't get involved or disturbed anywhere there. Developers, testers, business analysts, they're all a part of the development team. Okay, so the pictorial representation that you saw before is not exactly right. So this is how I would see it: a product owner, a Scrum master, and a development team. Okay, so everybody, each and every person, apart from a product owner and a Scrum master, whoever, it could be a BA, it could be a QA, it could be a developer, they all belong to the development team.
Okay.
Okay. Now, before proceeding to the next slide, I want to answer your question about a stakeholder. Okay. But I think that question will be answered better when I tell you about what is a product owner. Okay. I mean, who is a product owner? What exactly is the role of a product owner? When I tell you that, if I tell you what is a stakeholder, I think it will help you much better. So,
Okay.
can we come down to that when we see the product owner?
Sure. Sure.
So, till now, is it clear?
It is very clear.
Okay. So, so who is a product owner? See, a product owner is the person who envisions a product. Okay. So you asked me about a stakeholder, right? So a stakeholder is, let's say that somebody came up with an idea where they wanted to create some kind of a product. Okay, like maybe let's say even iPad. Okay, so let's say that if there are a few people, let's say Priyanka invests in it and Maitri invests in it. Okay, let's say we are the two investors. So investors could be your stakeholders basically, or people who are probably a part of the vision. Okay, that they want the product to be in a specific way. Okay, they are the basic stakeholders. They influence the product owner on how the product has to be. Okay, so I can say that hey, I have invested so and so in this product. I want the product to look like this. I want the product to turn out to be like this. Is what the product stakeholders do. Okay, they will kind of read the market. Of course, the product owner will also study the market, understand what is working, what is the latest trend in the market, and stuff like that. But the stakeholder will also do that, understand what is happening in the market. There will also be investors for the product.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so what does actually the product owner do? So the product owner is the one who ensures that the product has, they get maximum value out of the product. So what do you mean by maximum value? Value maximizer of the product. Okay, let's say that you have different things that you want to do with the product. Okay, first thing is, let's say that okay, let's say take even the Amazon example that we spoke about last time. So when I was, let's say that I'm the product owner for Amazon. Okay, so I have some 10 ideas on the top of my head. I say that I want Prime. I say that I want Amazon Pay in place. Let's say that I have grocery section that I want, beauty section that I want, apparel section. But as a product owner, I should understand what do I need, the first thing. Have you heard of the term called minimum viable product?
No.
Okay, what does a minimum viable product means is that, see, it is, could be like uh, some small part of the product. Okay, for example, what is the point of going and buying something online if you don't have a login or a registration ID? Or if you, let's say, okay, let's say that you even uh, are able to buy without a login or a registration, but you're not even able to fill your address or something where you want it to be delivered. You understand what I'm saying? So a
Yeah.
minimum viable product should have everything minimum that you need in a product for you to use it. So the usability should be there. What is the point of you saying that go add to cart, then go and buy now, but you're not able to fill in your address? That's not a minimum viable product. So as a product owner, I should understand what are the things that I need to do to make my product maximize its value. So, what are the things that I can quickly move? Can I first send the login and the registration feature first? Can I write that user story so that that part of the website can be started using? Can I, okay, Amazon Pay can wait because the user can still buy it with credit card and debit card or probably using PayPal. So can I probably do that release 3 4 months later? Can I put that below the priority? Can I make my login and my registration as the highest priority? Can I make my basic buy, like probably just buying clothes and books, that is the utmost priority? Then probably I can introduce Amazon Prime to do it in a much more faster fashion to get the delivery faster. And then probably I can introduce Amazon Pay. So it is basically making the right decisions at the right time based on the market. Okay. So you have this craze, right? You have suddenly bitcoins in craze, then you will have something else in craze. So it's all basically acting on the market's feedback. So a good product owner should understand what will tick in the market at the moment, and based on that take a decision, and prioritize that, and understand that, and quickly try to time the product to market. That is what they do. That is what they are called, value maximizer of the product.
Oh,
Got
okay.
that?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So, and they are the people who order and manage and maintain the product backlog. So, if I say that the top one should be login or registration, the second one should be okay, buy. So buy now. So the section called apparel will be there. Then the section called groceries will be there. So they should be able to order the product, or how the website has to be created, how the product has to be created. So they are the ones who prioritize or order what has to go, which innovation has to happen, what is it that needs to go to the market first. Okay, and once it goes to the market, it hits the market based on how of receptiveness that they get in market. They should be able to innovate. Let's say that they are very popular with something, so they would have probably started with just Amazon books. It got so popular that they wanted to change it to different sections like Amazon Pantry, something else. So they expanded based on their market feedback, right? So think about it. They do all this for 2, 3 years. By then, something else even more upgraded than their website is there. It would have been no use, right? The 2 years time would have just been wasted. So they should know how to order based on what is happening, what is needed, and uh, what is utmost important in terms of their product vision, in terms of the innovation that they can come up with, and also based on the feedback that they would have got. Have you seen this? A lot of these Kickstarter websites, that it is called uh, so it is all for the startups. Okay, I think it's called Kickstarter. I'll check and tell you. So they
Okay.
have people who can actually invest, okay, like small amount of money, and you will get like free samples like wallet or smartwatch or something like that when they create it, and they will make you give a feedback, okay, saying how the wallet is or how the smartwatch is, and based on that they will come up with new things for their product. Okay, so that's how they order and manage and envision the product capability. I already spoke to you about it. Okay, product owner is a committee. Tell me whether it's a myth or a fact. Committee, what I mean by committee is, what I mean by a committee is a bunch of people.
Um, it's a myth.
Okay, what makes you say that?
Okay, let me think.
But you have the right answer.
Okay.
I like how you're
So
thinking.
so basically there are no group of people involved. There is just one person who is actually involved here, and who actually acts like a product owner.
Okay. So let me correct that a bit.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say that you have something. Let's say that maybe you have a new startup. Okay, you have different people. You have different people who are. You have a VP for sales. You have a VP for marketing. You have a VP for PR, etc. Okay, every VP says that my advertisement in this newspaper should go, or it should get released, or something like that. My my product, first portion of the product should get released first. Okay, so don't you think it will become chaotic if too many cooks are there?
Yeah, it does.
It is a product as a whole, right? So
Yeah.
even if in Amazon's case, let's say that the Amazon Prime person had said, hey, I have thought about Amazon Prime, so you develop that first and you get that up and running. Kindle guy comes and says, hey, no, there is an important feature in Kindle, I want that first. Okay, then Amazon uh, Pay guy comes and says, I have an important update in Amazon Pay, I want that now itself. Okay, every priority will get shuffled back and forth, and the whole product vision will go for a toss. There should be always one product owner. That product owner will envision what exactly is required for the product, and based on that, that product owner will order what is necessary and what is not. If the Amazon Pay can wait, it can wait. If the Kindle's update is much more important, the product owner will decide that and prioritize it and order it accordingly. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because for you, your work will be important. For me, my work will be important. But ultimately, one person, if that person can envision, like take Facebook for instance, Mark Zuckerberg is the only product owner, right? Even though there
Mm-hmm.
are so many people working in Facebook, what happens in Facebook is decided only by Mark Zuckerberg. They have
Right.
so many features. They brought in like social community pages and then adverts and things like that. Then Messenger. So each and everything was a decision by Mark Zuckerberg, right? So because they have one product owner, they have been able to be so successful.
Okay, so you're saying that the product owner individually takes the decision, even though the product is developed like by a group of people.
No, 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 no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the product owner might consider, see, like, because, see, it's my money, right? I can't tell you that, hey, just because uh, you are the product owner and I have given you the responsibility, it doesn't mean that I will just say that, hey, you know what, it's your product, you take care of it. Of course, I'll ask you questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, when I have a constructive feedback as a stakeholder, I come and tell you that I think, hey Priyanka, I think this should work better. You will of course take my considerations also, my feedback into consideration. But ultimately it is you who will make the decision.
Okay.
Let's say that you have something that you critically need. Okay, you need some feature or you need some part of the product very desperately as a product owner. Okay, but the development team comes and tells you, hey Priyanka, we have this dependency. Okay, before this gets done we cannot do this. Or let us say that there is something, they are dependent on a third party vendor. Okay, before they get a tool they cannot develop something. Okay, so as a product owner, if you only make the decisions not considering others, then obviously things will all become impediments, right? You will not be able to move forward at all. And you will obviously fail. You will take considerations, you will take the feedbacks into consideration, but eventually it will be you who will make the decision and nobody else.
Yeah.
Even the user is feedback, right? You can indirectly say that the user is a stakeholder also, right? Because they are the ones who actually give uh, positive feedback and negative feedback, and based on that, you can correct or work on your website or your app, right? So, of
Yeah.
course, they will take the feedback into consideration, but ultimately, it'll be only one person's decision because the product accountability, if it goes more than one person, then the priorities will be different. For your team it will be your priority, for my team it will be my priority. Then like I told you sometime back, it will be like the development and the QA team. The development team will say their work is more important, the QA team will say their work is more important. So the accountability should just be with one person. So that is why you, like you rightly said, a product owner is just one person and not a committee. Okay, make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So now say hello to the development team. So see, the development team is self-organized and cross-functional. So what is actually self-organized? See, typically when you see management 1.0 or 2.0, like those years of project managers and things like that, okay, those kind of managerial days, people used to actually tell you what you're supposed to do, how your task is supposed to look like. You used to go on through so many reviews and everything used to be like that. But nobody likes to be micromanaged, right? Nobody likes to say that, hey, you, how is this work done? When are you going to do it, etc. So a self-organized team is something that is not micromanaged. They will be able to do their work on their own. See, the Scrum Guide's definition is that uh, it says that one second. It says that a development team is something that. Hey Priyanka, before we move on to the development team, I just
Mhm.
want to quickly take you through to this. So if you
Okay.
have any questions, you can just ask me. So a product owner is responsible for maximizing the value of the product. Okay. So is the person responsible for uh, explaining clearly explaining the product backlog items, ordering the items. So what you can do is you can read through these, Priyanka, as and when
Okay.
we
Yeah.
finish our sessions, because I don't want to make it too theoretical. But
Yeah.
if you have any points that you have questions with,
Sure,
okay,
Maitri.
you
Yeah.
can
I'll
ask
go.
me questions.
Yeah, I'll go through this after the class and I'll let you know if I have any questions in the next
Yeah. Feel
session.
free to shoot out any questions on WhatsApp. You
Okay.
can directly message me as well if you don't want to spam the group,
Okay.
and we can discuss about it.
Sure.
Okay. So
Yeah.
actually the Scrum Guide says that they cannot. No one can tell the development team to turn a product backlog into increments of potentially reusable functionality. So I don't want to make it too theoretical. In essence, what they have meant is that whatever task is given to them, okay, nobody will tell them how to do it. They know how to implement it. Okay, that
Okay.
is why they are a team and they are accountable as a team, right? As a team, they have to succeed. So they know how to do it. And cross-functional team means that they have all the kind of skill sets. Okay, like they have, if you have a cross-functional team, then you will probably have a developer, a tester, a business analyst, a data analyst, everybody on board in the team. Okay, so they can basically all of them they will have that required kind of skill set that is required in a team to achieve this. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is essentially what they will do as a cross-functional team. Okay. So like I already told you, there are no titles in Scrum. Okay. Everybody will. It is just everybody is just the same in the team. There is no differentiation or anything like that. Okay. Hey Priyanka, 1 second, Priyanka. Just hang on for a minute.
Okay.
Hello? Yeah, Priyanka. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Maitri.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just wanted some water. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. So they have the specific set of skills that see they have to have you when you have a Scrum team in general, especially a development team. It is very good for them to have a team in such a way that they have all kind of people. They will have designers, they will have people who can code, people who can test, okay, people who are like architects in there and data analysts. So everybody, all kind of skill sets. So much so that they don't have to go out and ask for help. They can do everything within the team. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody will be an expert in what they are doing, that they will not actually go out and seek for help. Okay. So clear till now?
Yeah. I'm clear.
Okay. So I wanted to run you through this development team size as well. Okay. So essentially the development team size, the recommended development team size is 3 to 9, Priyanka. Okay.
Okay.
So less than 3 means that you really can't effectively do anything. Okay, like especially let's say that, think about it, no, you have just 3 people, you have only a coder, you have a QA, okay, and you have a designer. In that case you will not have someone else, you will not have a business analyst. Okay, if you have like a business analyst, you have a coder and you have a QA, then you will not have a uh, someone else in the team. So it'll be like too small, okay? You will not have that kind of a cross-functional team where you will have people with all kind of skill sets. That will not be there. So that is one of the main reasons why less than 3 people is like too small for a team. Okay, get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're able to
yeah,
see
I
my
get it.
screen, right?
Yeah, I'm able to
Yeah.
see your screen
So
myself.
and
Sorry.
yeah, and more than 9 means it is too chaotic for us to like maintain the team. Okay. So if it's like, see, right, see, it is nice to have 5 to 6 people. Like you have like 2 developers, one QA, one business analyst, an architect, let's say something like that. Yeah, somewhere around 7 to 8 will be reasonable. But something more than 9 is too much for you to maintain because you have a lot of people on the team. Okay, so obviously this taking accountability, it will be like just with different people, so it'll just become too much. Okay, it just requires too much of coordination. So ideally Scrum recommends 3 to 9, but on a realistic way also I have found even 9 to be a lot. Okay, because I have had a Scrum team where there were 9 people. So it was the Scrum Master, the product owner, and then 9 of them. And it was so much for me to handle it. Then I had to tell the organization, please can't you get one more designer on board so that we can split the team into 5 and 5. That way they
Oh,
will be much more self-organized. Okay, so
oh,
these are realistic problems that you run into, not just theoretical. Okay, so
okay.
then probably our favorite part. Okay, uh,
What do you mean by designer?
designer is the person who does the user interface, right?
Oh,
Who
yeah,
your
yeah. Okay,
website,
got it.
the look and feel of the website. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they are
Okay.
designers. Mhm. Yeah, so here's our favorite part. Okay, so the Scrum Master, of course, the Scrum Master is a crucial person in the Scrum team. Okay, so a lot of people think that, see, the main problem is a lot of people think that a Scrum Master role is similar to a project manager or a delivery manager role, or a Scrum Master is someone who just micromanages and asks the team, hey, when will the product be delivered? When can you deliver this? Not at all. A Scrum Master is someone who teaches the team to be self-organized. That is one of the very important things a Scrum Master does. But then a Scrum Master actually is a very important role in terms of they actually teach the team to understand Scrum. What is Scrum all about? Why is what is so beneficial about using Scrum? Okay. And they are a servant leader. They serve the team when required. When, let us say, there is a problem like they have some problems that they're not able to resolve on their own. Probably their website is not running at all. They don't know what is the problem. That is something that the network guys should fix. And the Scrum team the development team doesn't have the expertise to do it. So they will serve the team when required. Let's say that the organization is overworking them. So the Scrum Master will serve the team and help the team when required, and they will lead the team, but they will not manage the team. Okay, they just collaborate the team. Manage literally means that doing everything. Even at home, we don't like to be managed, right?
Right.
We don't like to be said this has to be done this way, this has to be done that way. Everybody has got a mind of their own, and we don't like doing things. We're all adults and we like to be helped, but we don't like to be managed. Okay, so Scrum is a very radical thought, Priyanka. So I mean, it could be very radical for a lot of people. Maybe 10 years down the lane, it will not be very radical. But for people who are not in our generation and people who are much elder to us, it's a very radical thought process because obviously they all have been so used to being told what to do at work, right? So something like this is like very surprising for them. Okay,
Right.
so
Mm-hmm.
this is typically what a Scrum Master does. Okay, so do you have any questions? Of course, I'm going to take you through the Scrum guide, and I wanted you to, because this part is very important, I wanted to read through the Scrum guide actually, okay, so that we don't miss anything. So the basics, did you understand? Can I just
Yes, I
take you
did.
through to the, yeah,
I did my.
okay, great. So see what, so the Scrum Master, okay, these are things that I took you through. So the Scrum Master helps those outside the Scrum team understand which of their conversations with the Scrum team are helpful and which aren't. The reason why I'm reading through and kind of telling you is because we have the time. Second thing is these things look very confusing. Okay, so
Okay.
unless somebody is actually there to help you, I struggled, so I don't want you to struggle too. So what the sentence exactly means is that, uh, so let us say that a delivery manager comes and says that I want this by this time. Okay, a release manager says that this is by this time. That is of no relevance to the Scrum team, right? That is of no relevance to the product owner, no relevance to them, or a lot of other things organization wise. That is of no relevance to the Scrum team. The day-to-day activities like timesheet, blah blah, so many things could be relevant to the Scrum team, so many things would not be. Okay. So what is useful and what is not useful is something the Scrum Master will help the team understand. Okay. See, there could be a particular reason for the team to come to office at 11 o'clock and go back at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Okay. But that is something that the organization may not be okay with. Okay. But that is something the Scrum Master himself can say that, hey, you know what? This is the reason why my team is coming at this time and going at that time. Okay. Because all of them are like this, they are working late night, whatever. So that interaction need not actually happen with Scrum team and it can get that done with the Scrum Master itself. But there could be other things like the product's vision, okay, that can come from the top management in the organization. Okay, but that has to go to the Scrum team. So so the Scrum Master can say, hey, you know what, I think you should come and talk to the team about this. Okay,
Okay.
so they kind of they are kind of a collaborator or they are, you can't call them exactly an intermediator between them. Okay, because Scrum, everything in Scrum is very transparent. Okay, so nobody is like the says communication from here to here or here to here, but they kind of make others in the organization understand what is important and what is not. Okay, so that is what is meant by the sentence. Do you understand?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so yeah, helps everyone change these interactions to maximize the value. Yeah, so that's what it is. So what exactly is a Scrum Master service to the product owner? Okay, so ensure that the goals, the scope, and the product domain are understood by everyone on the Scrum team. So let's say that the developers are just taking up the tasks and they are doing it. Okay, they don't have any clue about what they are doing. The product owner is explaining something to them. They are just going and doing it. Okay,
Okay.
so when that happens, okay, you will not have that passion or your zeal to get that thing done well, right? Or you will not have any innovation, or you will not come up with innovative thoughts, right? Only if the product intrigues you. Okay, only if you are able to understand why you're doing it, what is the
Right.
goal, what is the scope, what is the domain. When you have all that, that is when you will be able to do it in a much more better way. So the Scrum Master just helps the product owner do that. Finding techniques for effective product backlog management is again very theoretical, but it is just a way in which the Scrum Master can probably suggest that, hey, if you can do this way. For example, they can give an advice something or a suggestion saying that, you know what, I think you have to prioritize this on top of this because this is dependent on uh, the infrastructure team. The infrastructure team said that this will take 3 weeks to get this tool delivered to us. So till then, why do you want to place it on the product of? top of the product backlog. If that is there on the product backlog, on the top of the product backlog, it's not going to be picked up for another 3 weeks. So don't place it there. They can help them arrange or like order the product backlog based on dependencies,
Yeah.
based on the skill sets. Let's say that the designer is not there. Let's say that the look and feel person is still not on board. They are busy with some other scrum team. Let's say that that is a very skilled share. That is a very shared skill set, very rare skill set. So they are shared between multiple teams. So let's say that person is like with another team, and you will not get that person for this entire sprint. Okay, so there is no point having their task on top of the priority list, right? It doesn't make sense because they will not be able to touch it for the next 3 weeks.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so these are things that the product owner may not be aware of because these are all organizational level decisions, right? So it is not everything that she should or he, the product owner, need not know. So they can help with different techniques. They can probably pitch in and say that for like even online they might have found some technique that is like effective. Scrum Master can help that way. Then and help the team understand the need for clear and concise product backlog items because it is very important to understand what you're doing. Okay, if it's not clear, the product owner should write it very clearly because if the product backlog items, the user stories that you write, if it is not clear, the task is not very clearly described, then you will not have a freaking clue about what you're doing. Okay, the developers will not have a clue on what they are developing. The testers will not have a clue on what they are testing. Everything will go for a toss. Understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you need very clear product backlog items. Okay.
Okay.
And product planning in an empirical way, again, we touched on empirical environment, right? So you have to product plan the product based on what you have already forecasted, like based on like the previous things. Let's say that your team was able to do so and so things, and you got so and so feedback from the user constantly in such a way. So you can uh, understand your product planning in such a way and implement it in such a way. Like let's say that you were able to release a most viable product last time within 3 months. Okay, releasing is different. Maybe let's say that it was 3 different sprints, and at the end of 3 sprints, you released. So now it will help you to understand that the second most viable product, your release 2.0, will happen in 3 months or like 2.5 months or 4 months or something like that, based on your previous or past experiences. That is what is meant by understanding product planning in an empirical environment. Okay,
Okay.
so ensuring how the product owner arranges the product backlog to maximize value. That is what I told you, right? Based on dependencies, external factors, and things like that. Specialized people are not available, etc. The Scrum Master will help them to arrange the product backlog. Understanding and practicing agility. Of course, agility is something which is a mindset. Okay, but then being flexible or teaching somebody to be flexible is also something that you can do. Okay, like how will a scrum master do it? Let's say that a product owner is from a very non-technical background. They're not able to understand, okay, that if only a tool is ready, then only the team can do it. The product owner is saying, why can't the team do it? Why can't the team create the product backlog? Why can't the team create the tool on their own? Things like this. So let's say that they are not a very understanding product owner. So how do you kind of inculcate that agility or the flexible mindset in them? That is also something that the Scrum Master does directly or indirectly influences the product owner. Facilitating Scrum events as requested or needed. So this is something like you have your product backlog refinement. I'll take you through when we come to that. So let's say
Okay.
that they want a meeting, they want some kind of a meeting, the product owner, then the Scrum Master will do it accordingly. Okay. So Scrum Masters development, clear till now? What are the services to the product owner?
Yes, yes, Maitri.
Okay. So the next thing is what is the Scrum Master service to the development team? So coaching the development team in self-organization and cross-functionality. So self-organizational meaning, yeah, try to resolve things on your own. Okay. Try to understand. Let's say that you have a very very tough thing that you have to develop. Nobody in the team has any expertise to do it. They are finding it very tough. Okay, so they have to take only somebody's external help. Okay, but did they try on their own first? That is self organization. Within their boundary or within their circle, were they able to resolve issues by their own? That is what the Scrum Master tells them. They don't spoon feed them every time. They help the development team mold themselves as individuals. Okay. And cross functionality also, everyone doesn't need to know everything. But each and every person in the team has to be an expert at what they are doing. So that collectively, when they work together as a team, it is very, very effective. They are able to see when you have cross functionality, you will automatically be self organized. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you have everything that you need in a team, you'll be naturally self organized, right?
Right.
If you have everything, it is as simple as that. You cook up some, let's say that you bake a cake. If you have everything that you need to bake a cake, the taste is a different thing. But you will be able to produce something at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
So when you have that all skills that are needed, then you will be indirectly self-organized, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is what the Scrum Master teaches the development team, and then helping the development team to create high value products. Again, this is if they are able to be self-organized and they are able to be
Hello.
cross-functional. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, it was
Hello.
breaking in between. It just broke once, so it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
So helping the development team to create high value products. So this again, making the development team produce or emphasizing on how important the values of the product is. When they are self-organized and they have all the skill sets, then they will be able to seamlessly produce the products without any hiccups, right? So that is what the Scrum Master helps. Okay, and when they will remove the impediments. So any kind of impediments that they have, like for example, let's say that somebody in the development team is on a leave for a very long time. Okay, so how does the Scrum Master resolve it? Do they get somebody on board temporarily to fix that problem, or do they hire somebody else to replace that person, or do the product owner and the development team sit together that sprint when they have a sprint goal and say, hey, let's take it lighter the sprint because one person is missing in action, he's very sick, so we can't do all these tasks. So those kind of impediments, let's say that the website is not working, it's not up and running at all, that is something that the network team has to work. So these are the impediments that the Scrum Master removes for the development team. Okay.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. So facilitating Scrum events again, like if they want any meetings, if they want any events, as and when they request for it. Let's say that some requirement for them is not very clear. Then the Scrum Master will set up a meeting with the product owner, and then they will have a product backlog refinement meeting to understand uh, clear requirements or stuff like that. And then coaching the development team in organizations where Scrum is not fully adopted and understood. So, how to implement Scrum, why, and what are the events, making them basically understand what is what. Okay, so those are the ways in which they help the development team. And Scrum Masters service to the organization. Of course, if and it's a new organization or they are transitioning from traditional models to, uh, let's say that Scrum adoption, then they will help the organization see what are the benefits of having Scrum, then planning Scrum implementations, how, so you can't do it for the organization as the whole, right? You have to do it like smaller pieces of the organization. Then you have to convince the management. Say, let's say that one of your management people are very convinced with the adoption of Scrum. Okay, if you have just only one person who's an investor in your company, it's fine. Let's say that you have multiple chairmen. One chairman is very convinced that you can have Scrum adoption. He finds it very useful. The other one doesn't agree at all, doesn't say that, hey, why Scrum? We are just doing fine as we are doing. What is the big deal about Scrum? So, what will the Scrum Master do? They will apply it to smaller parts of the organization, maybe one project, two projects. They will take it as like a pro bono, do it with one small product, small team. They will go and show back to this chairman, hey, can you see how effective this is now? So can I just do this through the organization? Okay. So stuff like that. So that's what I meant by helping employees and stakeholder understand and enact Scrum. Not everybody will be open with the idea of such radical changes, right? We have to slowly convince them. Then they, when it's a new organization and they have like, let's say 2 lakh plus employees and they have such huge people and they want to implement Scrum for like 100 odd, for one big account, which has got 100 employees. So there'll be multiple Scrum Masters. The client is saying, I want to implement Scrum. The organization has no clue to do it. So they will work with because the client will already be implementing Scrum. So how will they do it? They'll work with other Scrum Masters to increase, and they will obviously work with the organization to do such things. So that's all I have for today. I just didn't want to overwhelm you with Scrum events. So is there any questions that you have till now, or what you can do is you can revisit the Scrum guide, ask me if there is something that you don't understand. And from the next meeting, I was thinking probably 45 minutes we will have the session, and 15 minutes you can ask me questions or things like what you're struggling and what are the things, and I can maybe suggest. Or if we have like a 1.5 hour session, then 1 hour 15 minutes we can do the session, and 15 minutes we can just have an open house. You can shoot questions.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay, Maitri, that works.
Yeah.
I'll go through the
And
guide today.
assessments also, yeah, sure, please. Assessments, of course, it should not. So we can probably do that, and then you can, after some point in time, you can also take your PSM1 exam. I'll help you through all that. That should not be a problem. But you
Okay,
should
all
know
right.
your Scrum guide really well before doing that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so read the Scrum guide. I hope you found the session good and interactive and things like that. If you have any
My
questions,
Yeah,
huh?
Maitri, I have one question. So you
Yes.
you are working as a Scrum Master, right? So you only work
Mhm.
as a Scrum Master, or you also do any development or like
No, no, I don't do
gather the
development. I'm a full-time
requirements
Scrum.
or an,
See,
just the
I'm a
Scrum Master?
full-time Scrum Master. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay,
So, see, what I'm doing is that I'm a Scrum Master for one team.
okay,
Okay, one product. I'm a product owner for another product, but that is an internal product for the company. Okay, that is like they are the internal stakeholders. So I'm a Scrum Master for a project which we have a client for. So that team is
okay.
pretty huge. We have like 3 Scrum teams there. Okay.
So for
So and the
being a product owner, you can still be a Scrum Master and be a product owner.
yeah, but I'm not the Scrum Master and the product owner for the same product. We have the
Oh,
client who is a product owner for that product.
okay,
See, what happens is you can be the product owner and the Scrum Master for the same team. But then you will not be able to do justice to both the roles. And a
Uh,
product owner is a very critical role because the entire product weight is on your head. Okay, if you go around implementing or enacting Scrum and holding events and then seeing if the team has any impediments, then solving that, then you will not be able to full-fledged take up that role of envisioning the product and taking up
yeah.
that product. If I can understand to an extent if it's a stable product or a product that has been working for a very long time. Okay, but for new development products, it is very, very difficult for them to do a dual role
Yeah.
because of the simple reason that you will simply not do any justice.
Okay.
Okay, you can either take care of the team or collaborate with the team, or nor can you like have the full focus of the organization in mind. So you will not do justice anywhere, like of the product in mind. You will not do justice anywhere. So it is
Okay.
highly recommended that, yeah, even though a lot of organizations do that, it is highly recommended that a person is not a product owner and a scrum master at the same time. Same is the problem with the development team, and if a person is a part of the development, I know coding. I used to be a part of the development team initially in my career. Then I got an opportunity to move as a scrum master, and I did.
And do you think your experience actually helped you to analyze the scope of the project
Yes.
or the requirements?
Yes. So, see, the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, being a technical Scrum Master has its own advantages because when the development team gives a cock bull and story, see, that I mean, we can give them freedom. Okay, we can tell them to
Mm-hmm.
do everything independently, but it doesn't mean that we can make them take you for a ride, right?
Right.
So if it is a small change, like let's say that sometimes just adding a button, okay, a
Mm-hmm.
simple button on the screen. My development team used to give 1 day as the estimate. Like this planning poker and all will be there, no? They'll say that, hey, you know what? This I think this might be this much of time. A rough estimate when they give. But I'll
Oh,
not actually go and tell them, hey, you're giving too much estimate. As a scrum master, it's not my work to do that.
right.
But I will very subtly ask them, guys, are you sure that you have given the right estimation? So
Mm-hmm.
I'll kind of make them think.
Okay.
Okay. So it is indirectly influencing them, asking them, are you sure that this is right? Are you sure that this amount of time is sufficient or not a lot or something like that? Because sometimes they even give the estimation very low.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sometimes for something that will take a lot of time. So I'll ask them, hey
Mm-hmm.
guys, are you sure that this is enough for you? Can you do you think that you guys can do this within this point of time? So it's all that technique and art of speaking that you learn over time, Priyanka.
Okay.
Even I was
And
terrible.
okay. And being as a non-technical person, do you think it will affect me in any way?
No, I don't think it should.
Okay.
Over a point in time, you will kind of understand what is what. See, when you start seeing that how work is getting done and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't you think that you can sense it after some point of time who's how?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
the first few sprints you might have difficulties, but don't
Mm-hmm.
you think after that point of time that you will be smart enough to understand that, hey, this person is taking us for a ride. So it comes with practice. Even
Okay.
a technical person can be taken for a ride if they are not a good scrum master. So it all
Mm-hmm.
essentially depends on. I'll also suggest just read through the Scrum guide. I'll also suggest some books and all that
Okay.
really help me. Okay, a lot
Oh,
of leadership books. So I'm sure that it will help you as well.
okay. All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, Priyanka.
Okay,
So I
Mike.
hope to connect soon. Maybe day after tomorrow we can again connect.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday morning then. Okay. Thanks a
Wednesday
lot. I
morning.
hope you
Yeah,
enjoyed the session. I really enjoyed
I
it.
did.
Thank
I
you.
really did.
Thank you. Have a
Thanks.
great
Bye, Matt. Yeah, good night.